Good morning and welcome to the MAC weather page for this Friday, April 29th. You can see temperatures out there this morning pretty close to normal, upper 30s to low 40s, mid 40s across the southeast part of the state. And if we go across the Great Lakes, you can see again mainly 30s to low 40s across the Great Lakes region. And we got a trough that is going to hang around for a while today with that low pressure system that moved off to our east, brought us some showers yesterday. Will bring us another chance of some scattered showers today, but I think the deeper as we go in through the day, the less and less that becomes possible. And we should be dry for tomorrow as high pressure system temporarily moves in. You can see our soil conditions across the area, still temperatures in the low to mid 40s. They'll warm up, especially as we get into early next week. We'll have a chance of maybe even hitting 70 degrees on Tuesday before the next cold front and trough moves in. This one, however, I think will be mainly affecting the areas of the eastern Great Lakes into New England as far as the coldest air from this next trough that builds in. And we're going to see high pressure eventually becoming more prevalent once we get towards the end of next week. And then I think we're going to begin to warm up fairly decently. We may still have a 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards type systems come through. But overall, I think the conditions are going to improve. The trend in the models has been with a little bit less moisture with these next couple of systems, one for today that moves out of the area, and then for the one for Saturday night into Sunday. Looks like the best chances of rain, as we've been talking about, will be across the southern part of the state. And again, farther north you get, the less in the way of moisture. We'll see more sunshine, hopefully in that Monday, Tuesday frame. And certainly with warmer temperatures, our soil conditions will certainly increase. You can see we've added evapotranspiration from the Breckenridge location. We're still working on the design of this page, but again, we'll have plenty of reports, and we'll show you some of these that we'll have here in a minute. You can see our normal high is 63, the normal low is 40. And look back here on, we had a record precipitation event of 2.27 inches of rain in 1909, and guess what? 8 inches of that fell in the form of snow in the Alma area. Again, we don't expect anything like that. If we look at the next shot, you can see this is a growing degree day summary based on location. And again, no change. We've had no growing degree days the last couple of days. If we show you the next report, this is the 20-year average at Breckenridge, and we'll show you some of these comparison maps each day throughout the growing season. Again, this particular one is just Breckenridge, where we have 20 years of data, and you can see not a big worry. The white is this year, and you can see the thicker lime color. That is last year. We're pretty much similar to that. Again, we don't really get too worried about that until we get into May. If we look at the next shot, this is from Blissfield. Again, we start this particular one once we reach the 50% plant date of corn at each of the locations that we have these totals that we track. And again, we'll show you these very often throughout the growing season. And if we look at the next slide, this is Breckenridge. Same thing, only difference here is we actually have 20 years of data. So we have our own averages that we use that are apples to apples as far as the growing degree day reports and how they're calculated. Some use integrated methods, some use the 80 max, and there are a number of techniques which you come up with growing degree days. Ours are all the same, so it's apples to apples. And eventually, once we get to the 10-year mark on some of our other branches, we should be able to have a reasonably good average database there as well. If we look at the satellite, this is the water vapor imagery, and you can see our next system that's going to be heading towards the Great Lakes. And the big thing on this particular setup is these systems keep diving down from the Pacific into the Rockies and then towards the Great Lakes, either Ohio Valley. And that's because we've had this big ridge setting over the top, and we've been waiting for this upper level ridge to eventually move to the southeast. And once that happens, I think we'll begin to see our heights rise, we'll begin to warm, we'll begin to dry out, and much of the activity will shift to the west coast as far as troughiness and moisture. If we look at the Great Lakes this morning, you can see the system that moved off to our east is well off to the east, but we're getting some returns due to an inverted trough that extends back into the Great Lakes, and that'll provide some scattered showers and keep our temperatures pretty cool. We'll be about 5 degrees to 10 degrees warmer today with highs around 50, maybe the mid 50s in some areas. And if we look at the forecast map for this morning, you can see the low pressure system well off to our east. Again, that trough extending back into the Great Lakes. The next weather maker gathering strength across the Texas area. And by tomorrow morning or Saturday morning, that moves up towards the mid-Mississippi Valley region, spreading showers and thunderstorms, and it'll move more to the east rather than to the northeast. And that's why we're going to see, I think, a little bit less in the way of precipitation as it moves towards the Great Lakes. Again, we'll be on the northern fringe of this. Much of northern Michigan back in the UP will be dry. And again, that'll then see warmer temperatures as the next system moves in. And that'll be a pretty good system. It could bring quite a bit of snow to the Rockies and to the Denver area, maybe 4 to 6 inches in Denver and maybe a foot or more just outside of Denver. So again, they're going to have another shot of winter, but as that storm cranks up, it's going to allow ridging to really increase our temperatures probably into the 60s on Monday, and then well into the 60s, maybe even 70s on Tuesday. If we look at the 72-hour forecast, you can see that most of the precipitation from this system coming in for Saturday night and Sunday is going to be across southeast lower Michigan, but only a quarter to half inch, probably closer to a quarter to a third of an inch, and much less as you head to the north. And this was the 7-day outlook yesterday as far as precipitation concerning the weekend system and for the middle of next week. Now look at the new run. You can see it shifted the heaviest rains farther and farther south, and that's been the trend in the models as that ridging begins to try to influence itself more. And again, that might mean a better opportunity for planting, especially across central Michigan as we get into Monday and Tuesday with warm soil conditions. We should be in pretty good shape, even with the cool down towards the middle of next week. We look to rebound by next weekend, and I think the following week we warm up quite a bit, at least it to near normal levels. By that time, it'll be mid to upper 60s. And as far as the 8 to 14 day outlook, very good outlook we like right here with warmer than normal conditions across much of the northern U.S. And again, we begin to see that troughiness shift more to the west across the U.S. And as far as precipitation, near to below normal precipitation across the east, that should allow us hopefully to get back into the fields and really get a lot done here over the next 10 days to 2 weeks. Thanks for stopping by and have yourself a great day, a great weekend, and 73s to all.